Shalom, Israel. We are the Isupk coming out of 125th Street and 1 West, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew organization or any other organization for that matter on the planet Earth. This is the St. Louis class, address 5261 Delmar Boulevard, Suite A, St. Louis, Missouri. What is it? 63108. That's the area code, the zip code, Shalaki. And the line you can call in on is 712-832-8330. Also 218-339-7800. 7800. The access code is 825-1636. That's access code 825-1636. We got food drives every last and first Friday of the month, here at the school, 5261 Delmar Boulevard, from 1 to 3. We giving away clothes, shoes, thanks to Commander General Yohana. We provide all the necessities for our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. If you in need, come get you some. If you ain't in need, you are welcome to donate. We need all the donation. Never know when you might be in need. So, give generously, come take generously, come get what you need, come give what's needed, We gotta look out for one another, being the chosen 12 tribes of Israel. So with that being said, we also got a soul food Sunday event that's coming up where we feed the community. That's this Sunday, that's tomorrow, February 23rd from 2 to 4 p.m. at Buddha Recreational Center. That's 2900 Hickory Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63104. That's from 2 to 4. Be there. Come get you some good food. I believe we're going to have scarves, gloves, skull caps, all types of different things there. Come support these brothers, these priests and prophets in the UPK as we take care of our people, as we fix blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians up into the condition which the Lord ordained them to be. All of us got to look out for one another once again, and we got to take care of each other. That's the definition of brotherhood and sisterhood. And with that being said, we're going to get into the topics today. We start off with any questions. Any questions on the line? Anybody in class got any questions? Any questions that needed to be answered or, that you might have just off the top of your head or whatever. We're going to get into that. Let me see. I believe I had a question from a sister from, earlier. She said she was going to be watching class. I don't know if she's watching, but I got a question. She said, where is it lawful for a man to be with more than one woman? That's a frequent question that's asked by sisters in our community, sisters that's in the world, sisters that's coming out of the Christian church and being raised up in this Christian society, Christian society which is raising our kids and raising our youth, the women and the men, both the boys and the girls both are being raised by Christianity, whether you are a Christian or not, whether you go to church or not. You've been raised up. You've been indoctrinated. Living in America, you've been indoctrinated with Christianity. That's white supremacy, and it has nothing to do with the holy scriptures, the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave us. The Christian church has nothing to do with that. That's why they never teach you according to the Bible, never teach you according to the scriptures, because they don't know the scriptures. That's why there's always a collection plate and different things of that sort, always happening and stuff like that. But what I wanted to do is give me Isaiah 4:1. You could do that, huh?
Uh-huh.
I wish we could get this mic over here. That mic ain't gonna reach all the way over here. We gotta take around all of this stuff. Come. See if it'll come around. In the meantime, till she do that, you got Isaiah 4:1. Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man.
Now, this is Isaiah. Isaiah is a prophet, a prophet of the Most High. He's speaking of a fraction in time. He's either speaking of past tense, future tense, or present tense. It's a way it's a time frame in which he is speaking of. So he's either speaking, like I said, in past tense, future tense, or present tense. And Isaiah said, in that day, what's gonna happen?
7 women shall take hold of one man.
Now he's saying that day 7 women shall take hold of one man. So do anybody know, was multiple wives allowed in the old times?
Yes.
So it was allowed in the old days. In Isaiah time, in the old days before Isaiah, it was allowed, right? Was it allowed in Isaiah time?
Yeah.
It was allowed also in Isaiah time. So we know it ain't talking about past tense or present tense in the tense that in the time frame that Isaiah is speaking of. Isaiah is living in a certain time frame, so we know it's not talking about that time frame or a past time frame. It's talking about the future, because Isaiah is a prophet, so he prophesied. What it means to prophesy is for the telling of a future event. That's what it means to be a prophet. That's what it means to, prophesy. You tell of a future event. So with that being said, Isaiah said, even in that day, go ahead, read that.
And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man.
He said one woman.
7 women shall take hold.
He said 3 women.
7 women.
He said 7 women. 7 is a number of perfection. 7 means it could be 1, it could be none, it could be 20. But 7 women shall take hold of that man. That's a number of perfection, meaning that this prophecy will come to pass. Meaning that this prophecy is going to prevail. Mark the Lord's words, it's going to happen. So with that being said, 7 women shall take hold of one man, meaning that it's going to be, even in the days where it's not popular, even in the days in our times where it's not popular, in the end time, where every woman thinks she's required to have her own husband, and even sidebar for a quick minute, it's kind of impossible for every woman, every Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman to have their own husband and for everybody to keep the laws. Because if you can't commit homosexuality, then that means women can't be with women, men can't be with men. So that means that you got to be with the opposite sex. Now, of course, if Black women and Hispanic women outnumber their men 7 and 6 to 1, that means that it's 7 times, 6 times as many women on the earth that it is men. You know, so with that being said, if all of them women had one man today, all the women had one man to themselves, that means it'd be 5 women for every man that's lonely. They can't commit homosexuality. You know, Shalom, Lord in Christ.
Has joined.
They can't be with one man. They can't. Shalom, Lord in Christ. They can't be homosexuals. You know, they can be lonely, but you mean to tell me if say it's 100 million black, Hispanic, and Native Indian men out there. That means there's 700 million black, Hispanic, and Native women out there. So you mean to tell me 600 million women supposed to be lonely without a man because the black woman, the Hispanic woman wants to be selfish and think that they entitled to the man to themselves? You know, the Lord said it was up to the man if he wanted more than one wife. He don't have to get no wives. He could be like Paul said. See, he said, I wish for y'all to be like if y'all had no wives. Because it's burdensome to have a wife. You got to take care of that wife. You got to protect that wife. You can't just commit whoredom. You can't be a whoremonger and, you know, just have all of these women smashing them and passing. Smashing them and passing them is not scriptural. You know, you cannot do that. So if you have the audacity, if you have the willpower, if you have the game to game that woman and she open herself up to you, then that means that you gotta have that same game, that same strength and willpower to protect that woman and guide that woman and take care of that woman. And when I mean take care of them, I'm not talking in the Christian sense. I'm not talking about, oh, you gotta work a 9 to 5 and as many wives as you want, depending on how much pay you get, how much money you make. No, I'm not talking about that taking care of. I'm talking about doing what's needed in your household to make sure the locomotive run fluently and well maintained.
Right.
You know, you gotta make sure if your woman don't know how to cook, guess what you gotta do? You gotta either teach her how to cook or you're gonna have to cook. If your woman don't know how to work, guess what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna teach her how to get a job or you're gonna have to go get a job. You know, if your woman don't know how to, whatever she lacks in, that's where you gotta pick up at, or you gotta guide her and teach her in that area so she can be successful, so your household can be successful. But that's what it is when you having multiple wives. You gotta take care of them. And it's not easy to take care of a lot of women. That's why, give me the verse where he said, do not apply multiple wives unto thyself. You know, give me that verse. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, give me that verse. You know, why he give me that verse, you know, the Lord, you have to look out at that, you have to look after Shalaki, that black woman, that Hispanic woman. You gotta be there. You gotta meet her needs and stuff like that. You can't just be smashing them and passing them and thinking that's okay. You cannot make the daughters of Israel unto whores. You cannot do that. You cannot make them, you cannot turn them out and make them whores. You cannot do that. That's a sin against the Lord, and the Lord despises that greatly. And he will put you to death for that. You know, just sleeping around making all our women whores and stuff like that, that's wickedness in itself. So with that being said, you know, we have to look after our women. And you know, it don't surprise me that she asked that question, because I know this sister and I met her before, and it's like she said she's actually a Christian, if I'm not mistaken, sis. I know you probably get offended by that, but you know you're a Christian anyway. You call yourself a Christian yourself, so I know you're not gonna get offended by it. But what I mean by that is that you don't understand the teachings. You don't understand the teachings of the Bible. You don't understand the teachings of the law, statutes, and commandments. And that's a great demon for our women. That multiple wives thing is a great demon for our women in the sense that I don't even understand why. It's like in their DNA that they always it's like they always had men that had multiple wives. It's like why are you so impatient with it now? Why are you so upset with it now when throughout your whole life this has been happening? What you do? Just move on? What? Because he said now it ain't lawful for you to move on. It's not lawful for you to be a whore. So now it's a problem. You can't just leave him because he got another woman. But here you done been with a million men. And then your character adapts to every man that you've been with. That's a scientific fact. That all the men that you engage with, they DNA is in your body. You get traits of every man that you've been with. And is that fair to that man? Did you come to him as a virgin? I see if our sisters came and they came to the man as a virgin, like, well, I don't really want you. That'd be one thing, which is not lawful, but they have more of an argument if you get what I'm saying with them coming as virgins. Like you coming as a virgin, you got more of an argument, which is not a good argument in itself because anything against the Lord is a bad argument. You got to take that up with the Lord. You can't take that up with your husband. If you have a problem with multiple wives, you have to take that up with the Lord. You have a problem with the Lord. You got that verse? Go ahead.
You want me to just get to the point or start at the top?
Go ahead. Start from the top.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him a king over thee, whom the Lord God shall choose.
Right.
One from among your brethren.
And this particular part of the scripture is talking about what y'all did with Barack Obama. What y'all did with Barack Obama, the Lord said it's not lawful for you to set a king over you, set a king over Israel. This is a precept for all you voters out there who study trying after 100, 200, 300 years, y'all study pushing voting. When will y'all understand that it don't matter what political party gets in office, it don't matter whether they're Democrat, Republican, or whatever they is, it doesn't matter which one get into office because America is not for you. And not just that, you ain't supposed to be voting to put a heathen over you anyway, right, to rule over you. It says it in the scripture. You can't vote for a heathen to be sitting over you, to rule over Israel. Ain't no heathen supposed to be ruling over Israel. We already got a king. We already got a God. So what more do we need? The Lord, we offended the Lord when we said we wanted a king like every other nation.
Right.
We offended the Lord with that. Let alone what we doing with Barack Obama, calling him Jesus and all types of crazy stuff. Putting all of these heathen these heathens over us and calling them this my president. That's not your president. That's them Edomites president. That's them Africans president. That's not your president. Your president is an Israelite that's in the slums with your black beyond suffering and dying every day. That's your people right there. That's who's supposed to be ruling over you, your own kind. Because in turn, your people, it makes only sense. Why would you have another nation ruling over you, choose for another nation to rule over you when that nation is not like you? So they're not going to, for one, understand you. And for two, they're not going to care about you as much as they care about their own or themselves. So right then and there, you become a second-class citizen just by voting. And blacks always want to scream, oh, we second-class citizens in this world. We second-class citizens in this country. We fought and died in every war. We won every war for this country. That's because y'all study voting for them heathens to be over y'all. The Asians ain't doing that. You know, the Arabs ain't doing that. They ain't running down to the voting polls every chance they get. They can care less. They got their community. You know, you go into the Arabs community, it ain't nothing but them. You go in the Jewish people community, it ain't nothing but them. You go in Chinatown, it ain't nothing but them. You know, you go in a black neighborhood, it's every other nation ruling over us. Every other nation got more power than us. But go ahead with the rest of that verse. That's what that first part of that verse is talking about.
Yes. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set
As
over thee as
joined.
king.
State your name and state you calling from, city you calling from, Akim or Aqua. No sweat. Mute your phone for me. You gotta press *6 if you trying to unmute your phone. So just mute your phone for me. If you got a question, press *6. Go ahead.
All right, Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
He said, neither shall I multiply what?
Wives to himself.
Now, of course, a Christian gonna look at this verse like, oh, see right there. You're not supposed to have multiple wives. It's not lawful for you to multiply wives unto yourself. It's not right for you to get a wife, get more than one wife. Read the rest of it. Because they never read the rest of it.
That his heart turn not away.
You know, go ahead.
Neither shall he multiply to himself gold and silver.
So he said, neither shall he multiply gold and silver. Now, what is the Lord to understand this verse and to take it in a proper context in which it should be taken in? You know, you got to understand, we understand the second part, but we don't understand, we don't understand the first part of the precept. We understand the, don't take the multiple wives. Christians understand that. They understand that, see, you can't have multiple wives, but you don't understand the gold and silver part.
Right.
You make no mention of the gold and silver part. Where the gold and silver part, he says, well, even in the first part, he tells you, he gives you basically the answer. He said that your heart turned not away, right? He said that your heart turned not away. Meaning that just like money is the root of all evil, we got that saying that we always say, money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. Well, yeah, it is. Do that mean we can't get money? Do that mean we ain't supposed to have money? Right. Do that mean like we supposed to be walking around broke? Like the Lord said, don't multiply gold and silver unto yourself. You know what I mean? You got money in your pocket? Oh, you sinning, brother. No, it's taking on too much more than you can handle. That's what that verse is talking about. Don't take on 20,000 wives like King Solomon and knowing that you only got time for 2 wives.
Right.
But you got 20,000 of them now. You know, them sisters, you causing them sisters to sin because they need companionship. A sister needs companionship. She needs the rod. She needs all of the above. You know, so without you able to give that to her, naturally, what she's going to do? She's going to seek that attention somewhere else.
Right.
And she's going to eventually get that attention somewhere else. You know, so you causing Israel to sin because you get more wives than you can handle. You biting off more than you can chew. Your eyes was bigger than your stomach. Ain't all of them the sayings that our people love to say when you doing too much? You know, you basically just doing too much. Don't have all of these wives and you don't never even see them. You got a wife. You got what that song say with Nate Dogg? I got girls in different area codes.
Yeah.
Like nigga, you go to Cali every blue moon. Nigga, you go to Cali every 3-4 years. And you got a wife there, and you ain't moved to where you at. Yeah, she's going to get bored. She's going to get lonely. She's going to get vulnerable because she's the weaker vessel. Not making it right for our sisters to do that, but it's common sense, man.
Right.
The laws is common sense, man. That's why he said it's written in your hearts. Because you hear a lot of Israel talk, well, I think this is right. Well, I think that is right. You know, and you'll be like, brother, that's in the scriptures. What you saying is in the scriptures. Well, I don't read the Bible. But what you saying is in the scriptures, though.
Right.
Why is that? Because the laws deep down inside Israel know what they're supposed to be doing. So either they're going to do what they're supposed to be doing or they're not. And if you're not going to do what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to be punished for it. So, you know, the Lord said, don't multiply wide, just like he said, don't multiply gold and silver. In the same context, you can't have more than you can chew. You know, and you can't bite off more than you can chew. So if you can handle 5 wide, by all means, if that's what you want, get you 5 wide. You know, you got to guide the women. It's hard. You know, like I like to do it one at a time. You know, I like to take my time with one wife, and if down the line, if I want another one, then I might give me another.
Right.
But for the most part, our sisters, ooh, especially coming out the world, they're a handful.
Yeah.
Man, they something else. You know, so and you got to make sure it's right. You know, you of course you don't want her to go astray and stuff like that. Yeah, my eyes get big when I see the sisters, because Israel got the best sisters. You know, so my eyes do get big.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, my eyes get big, but I know for right now, I think it's smart for me to just have one right now. Then I might build on 2. Then I might build on 2. I mean 3. You know, I might, depending on how much. We ain't probably even got that much time. You know, in the end times, which these are, you know, when they get more apocalyptic and they get more chaotic, you know, it's going to come to a point of time where that's going to become a burden for you. That's why Paul is like, I wish that you be like as you had no wives. You know, because it's like, you know, that's not something easy to have. Having multiple wives is something that's not easy. You got all of these characters that you got to maintain. You got to control. You got to guide. You got to guide all of these different characters. And you know these sisters, man. I mean, their characters is on 150. You know, their character is on 150, and they be doing the most. You know, but hey, that's the sister you chose, so you gotta take it in. You gotta handle that. You gotta be your character gotta be on 175 if hers on 150.
Right.
You gonna have to battle that sister.
Right.
You know, so and it don't mean put your hands on her either. You know, but you gotta battle her with your words. You gotta do them things and stuff like that. So with that being said, is that all for that scripture? Yeah. Let me see if this sister says something that she even watching. Like, and that's what be tripping me out, because a lot of sisters they always bring up the multiple wives thing, like that's the only topic and that needs to be talking about.
Right.
Like for the most part, I'm gonna be real with you. For the most part, like the general said, like if you do what you need to be doing, for the most part, that brother is not going nowhere. He gonna always come back home. So you know, stop stressing him out and try to take stress away from him. If you wish for your husband to be at the house more, what you should make it a house, a home. Try making it home a home, and your husband to be there more. Your husband won't be, you know, looking for another wife because you're a monster. Every time he go home, he like, man, he be sitting in the car, he be out front in the parking lot, you don't even know, for like 45 to an hour. Sitting out there, contemplating whether he want to go in the house, hoping that one of his homeboys call him. Like, man, what Tyrone don't never call a nigga when I need him. You know, I know he doing something. You calling your guy, you volunteering beer all types of stuff for them to kick. He like, man, I'm with my wife, man. I can't kick it today. And you contemplating in the alley, thinking about going into your wife because she's such a monster. So, sis, if you truly want your husband to be at home, then try being a vessel of rest, a pillar of rest for your husband. Stop being a pillar of destruction unto your husband. You know, try if he like macaroni and cheese, make this. You know the smartest thing you can do. Try go buy all the cheese at Snooks and make the cheesiest macaroni you can make. And I guarantee you that nigga gonna be right there knocking at your door, and you left the window open because you already know it. You letting the smell like on the cartoons, the smell just gonna draw him, take him off his feet. It gonna bring him all the way back to the house. You know, he gonna be 2 miles away and he gonna be coming, oh, my rib made some macaroni and cheese. And it smells cheesy as hell. You know, that's how you gotta be, sis. Is it got a little comedy in it, but on a serious note, that's how you gotta be if you wanna keep your husband. If you wanna keep him from getting another wife, I'm not saying that will stop him from getting another wife. Because some brothers just fall onto another lovely woman just like he fell into you, you know. But with that being said, you know, you shouldn't stress about it. You shouldn't worry about it because if that brother in the UPK, you have nothing to worry about. You don't have nothing about worried about that brother leaving you. You ain't got to never worry about that. You ain't got to never worry about your duty of marriage diminishing. Give me that verse. You know what that verse is? And this for the brothers. I'm gonna chastise the brothers a little bit too while I'm at it. So this sister won't just think I'm jumping on her, but she the one that asked the question. But you know, I'm gonna get on the brothers a little bit because the brothers gotta understand, man. You gotta handle your wife with delicacy. She's like a rose that just that's out there, and it ain't no she the only rose right there, and it ain't a rose bush. It's just a single rose, and all the elements of the weather, all the elements of outside is hitting against her. She's about to break. You got to look at her like that. You got to be her protection. You got to be like that bush around her that's protecting her, keeping her base and her structure up and strong. Keep it standing. Protect her from all the elements of the world. All the weather conditions, which is basically a big metaphor for you got to protect and guide your wife. She's precious in your sight and in the sight of the Lord.
Right.
So with that being said, you have to protect that preciousness. You gotta protect that vulnerableness. Because if your wife is vulnerable, you gotta learn that. You gotta learn where she's vulnerable at. So she know not to put her in them type of situation or allow her to be put in them type of situation. Or if she do get in them situation without you knowing, you'll know how to get her out of those situations. You gotta learn your wife. One thing I do, sidebar real quick, you got that verse?
No.
One thing I do, which is a sidebar, I examine my wife. I be watching my wife more. She thinks she watches me more than I watch her. But in reality, I watch how she moves, how she reacts to stuff, what ticks her off. I mean, I watch her from day to day. What she do is stare at me. Now that shit is weird. She'll stare at me and swear that she thinks she look at me more than I look at her. I was like, I just don't stare at you, but I be sneaking and looking at you. I be watching you, what you don't like, what you do like, your responses to stuff. I just say certain stuff to her to see how she'll respond to it. Just so I know where her mind and where her character at, everything. I brace my wife down on a daily basis and she don't even know it. She's not aware of it at all. And that's what you being the head of the household should try doing. breaking your wife down, on a daily basis, learning her ins and outs. You got to learn all of that, because the black woman, the Hispanic woman, they feel like they can get over on you. They feel like they can rule you. They will most definitely try it.
Right.
They will try it. My wife tried it a number of times. They will definitely try it. You gonna be like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. We know who wear the pants in our household. And that damn show ain't him. He be wearing Daisy Dukes. He be showing off his legs, getting his legs shaved and stuff. Hot waxed. He probably get it. He had an anklet on, dog. Did you see that picture? Sidebar, Shalaka. He had an anklet on, dog. He with his toes painted. I said, this brother right here, he's living through his son. Everything that his son is doing and going through right now is because of him. And because that's truly what he wants to be. So he's raising his son in that same spirit. And of course, it's how your son at 3 years old, they don't even at 3 years old even know. Half of them don't even know if they're a boy or a girl.
Right.
And when I mean by a boy or a girl, what type of equipment that they have, which makes them a boy or a girl.
Right.
They don't know about that stuff, so they might know that, oh, I'm a girl, I'm a boy, but they don't know about the equipment that they have. That's what makes them a boy or a girl. He said at the age of 3, his son knew that he wanted to be a girl. Like, man, at the age of 3, you knew you wanted your son to be a girl.
Right.
When he was 3 years old, you made up your mind. You said, yeah, he's going to be a girl. He's going to be my daughter. Because that's what I want to do. I want to be a girl. But go ahead with that verse. Let me up.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, chapter 21, verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Now,
what the Lord is saying in this scripture right here is powerful, because a lot of brothers don't understand this. And I had to learn it. Thanks to Captain Malquah, Captain DeGaulle, and General Muhammad, and all the councils I done went through, and all the times they taught us seeing Rapayah name pop up on their phone, and all the things all the trouble I done got into. With that being said, I give thanks to them brothers, because for one thing, them brothers got amazing counsel. Only here in the ISUPK, you're going to get this type of counsel.
Right.
But with that also being said, they never turned me down. They never said, like, brothers in the world, like, man, I'm tired of this nigga. They never said it, which I'm pretty sure they is. But they never would say it. Simply because that's brotherhood and that sisterhood that these brothers got in this school, and these sisters got in this school. So now that I said that, they told me that, like, it's just like with your wife, you have to, because a lot of brothers, and I used to do it, I used to be one of them, like, it's lawful for me to get another wife. So as soon as my wife do something, what I tell her? I'm going to give me another wife. I ain't got time for this BS, And I'm like, I'm going to give me another wife, throwing it in her face. But with her being the weaker vessel, that's what you got to understand. Even if I was to go get another wife, like I claim I would go and do, her raiment in that verse is letting you know that her duty cannot diminish. So if you brought that woman up and that sister was doing your laundry every week, and doing your laundry every week, and sister was always cooking for you, you cannot get another wife and give those duties to your other wife and take them from that wife. If she was doing that, that means her duties of marriage and her arraignment, you can't take her money and give it to somebody else. You can't take her money and her jobs and her stuff, like, You know, like if a sister like she always making flyers or something like that. You cannot take because you mad at your wife right now. You cannot take that duty from her because that's what pleased her. That's what made your marriage strong. So you upset, you in your feelings. So you like, you know what? No, I'm gonna have my other wife do this. You can't do this no more. You can't wash my clothes no more. I don't want you to wash my clothes. You cannot do that. And the reason why that is because the Lord knows Jake. The Lord knows blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He know how niggas is. He know niggas gonna say, you know what? I'm out of here. And my other wife, man, forget you. I'm out of here. You don't even make good macaroni and cheese anywhere. My wife make better macaroni and cheese anywhere. You can't even wash white clothes. You know, my other wife, you can't do all of that. It's unnecessary and it's destroying your wife. You know, it's destroying your marriage and it's destroying your wife. So it's duties and it's things, it's wisdom in having multiple wives. You know, you gotta understand, the woman is the weaker vessel, so you gotta take care of her.
Right.
You know, he wanna go take the we got this car together. You and your wife built the house up, you know, y'all bought y'all a house, but now you trying to take the house from her and give it to your new wife. You know, or you trying to have her move out so your new wife can move in. Or y'all got two cars and you trying to give one of the cars to your other wife, the one that your wife always drives. You can't do that. That's her duty and that's her arrangement. So, you know, brothers need to understand that while you trying to be out there and getting other wives just because you can and just because you upset or you emotional, that's the wrong thing to do. You're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna cause whoredom within Israel and you're gonna cause our women to go astray. And that's gonna be on your head, you know, on the sister's head too, but mainly on yours because if that sister was guided correctly, if that sister was molded correctly, she never would have left. You know, so with that being said, is there any more questions? Some questions online? With that being said, what time is it? We're gonna get into the topic.
About 11:20.
All right, we're gonna get into the topic, which is um okay. This brother got a question real fast before I get into the topic. He said he said where in the scriptures where in the scriptures it shows that Esau is white and Jacob is black. Um and where in the scriptures do it show Esau is white and Jacob is black? And I'm assuming by the second half of his question, he's saying, he's saying, and how do we know that the white man will be destroyed? All right, give me Genesis 25 and 20.
Uh-huh.
This brother must want to say white people. So sound like I ain't the smartest brother in the world, but sound like he got a few white women in his stable. We got Becky and Rebecca and Elizabeth. You know, you got it.
Okay.
Go ahead and read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the
Right.
daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padan, Padan, Padanaram.
What is the state? in which they in, the city
Yeah.
that they in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just skip over because I don't know how to pronounce that either. Stlouis.
Yeah, Padanaram. The sister of
Petaram or something like that. Yeah. But go ahead.
the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren.
Right?
And the Lord
So
entreated.
Isaac, I'm gonna give y'all a quick overview of what's going on. His wife, what was his wife name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca was barren, and Isaac, he prayed to the Lord, because his wife was barren. And if you know anything about a sister not being able to have kids, or not being able to have kids when she want to have kids, she feel less than a woman. She feel like she less than a woman. She feel like that her life is just meaningless and stuff like that. Which in reality, every sister that have a child is according to the Lord. Every sister that births a child is according to the Lord. The Lord can either allow you to have children, or the Lord cannot allow you to have children. It's up to the Lord. So it's not your fault. It's not something that you are doing or you lack or something like that. And I know some sisters have health conditions. Besides the health conditions, and even with that, the Lord still can allow that sister to have a baby, even with her health conditions. So, with that being said, basically Rebecca, she can't have children. She's barren, and she's about her husband is praying to the Lord for her because he's a priest and prophet, and she's probably acting all out. He's probably getting on his nerve, stressing that brother out. He like, man, I wish this sister just get pregnant. I wish my wife just get pregnant so she can leave me alone, and stuff like that, But go ahead.
Okay. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
Right.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right. Now, right here, she's asking, the children are struggling. The children are fighting in the womb. The children are like, they're different. They are opposites, so they struggling in the womb. And Rebecca's like, man, if this a blessing, why am I having so many complications? She don't know that they struggling in the womb because there's two different types of people in her womb. But she would let her learn that this is actually a fact of what's going on. So continue.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb.
Two what?
Two nations are in thy womb.
Two what?
Two nations.
He said two nations are in our womb. Your nationality is what? What do your nationality identify? Anybody know? What is your nationality? Go ahead.
Your paternal lineage.
Right, your lineage. So how can this one woman have two different lineages in her womb? That lineage got to be the same lineage unless she has two different men, but this is at one time. So she's having twins. So how can twins be two different lineages? Because your nationality is your nation, your race, who you are, what's flowing through your bloodline. So this sister about to have two different types of lineages in her womb. Go ahead.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
She said, and the Lord said, and the angel of the Lord said, and there shall be two different manner of people, meaning they're gonna act totally different. They're gonna have different ways, different traits. They're gonna you see white people. They always out in the woods, always wrestling crocodiles. They mad at Michael Vick because his cousin was fighting dogs, and they still won't forgive him while they out there killing rare rhinoceroses and rare lions and zebras and birds. You should see these hunters' walls. They be having every animal, every exotic animal head on their wall, but yet they mad at Michael Vick. Why you mad at Michael Vick for his cousin fighting dogs?
Right.
It wasn't even Michael Vick.
Right.
You know, you got them cousins that just, just ghetto is all outdoors, and you bring them to the house. They got money now. He's 100 millionaire. Michael Vick 100 millionaire. He probably got all his cousins in the house. Right. They don't know how to act. Man, they got dogs. They probably shooting dice in the bag. They barbecuing. They got dog fighting pits in the basement. Like niggas growing weed upstairs in the attic. Like like he right. Go away, and he's a football player, so right. He has to be at training camp. He has to be at endorsement signings. He has to be at all of these community events. So he's probably rarely even there. Right. And simply because he don't know what's going on, he ain't telling on nobody because he don't know what's going on. He was telling the truth when he said, I don't know what you're talking about. Right. He don't know what he talking about. You say they was fighting some dogs in the house, okay. Then shit, if you call them fighting dogs in the house, that's much what they was doing because I wasn't there, right. Obviously. But of course, the white man being an oppressor and the devil that the Bible speaks of, Michael Vick gets all his endorsements, all of his scholarships. I mean, not scholarships, but all his contracts, everything, his NFL contract, his jerseys get burned, and he gets jail time on top of it. And after all of that gets done, white people still don't forgive. Right. But like the Lord said, it's two different manner of people in the world. Jake likes to chill in the house. Jake's every time you call a black person or a Hispanic person, you call them, oh, what you doing? Nothing, chilling. What you on? Nothing. What you on? Nothing. Like you gotta say you ain't doing nothing at least like 4 or 5 times. We're gonna ask each other what you doing about 4 or 5 times. Nigga, I just said I ain't doing nothing. What you doing? Nothing. Trying to see what you doing. Well, I ain't doing nothing. You trying to come through? What we gonna do? Nothing. Nothing. Chilling. That's how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. They don't really go out in the field with all the bugs and the crocodiles and stuff like that. We ain't really them type of people. We like to be fresh. We like chill in the house. Niggas even hate when they step outside and it be too hot. They be complaining like, man, it's too hot, man. I'm going back in the house under the AC. They step outside, it's too cold, man. It's too cold. Like, it gotta be the perfect amount. Like, niggas walk outside and go like this. Yeah. I'm going back in the house. Right. Like, it gotta be perfect to them for them to come outside and stuff like that. Not Esau. Esau will come outside 30 below zero trying to ski with some sandals on and some shorts. And a big old sweater on his upper body. Right. Like, nigga, what about your knees? Your knees ain't gonna get cold? Like, he ain't got no knee coverage at all. You ain't got no pants on. You got these little polar bear shorts on. Like, ain't that's what that's called too? Polar bear swimming? When they go jump in the lake and in the waters and 30, 20 below zero. That's two different manners of people. You can't tell me that them are the same manner of people. But like this brother asked, he said, how you know Esau is white and how you know Jacob is black? And we about to get it right here. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
And we already know the answer to that. We already know that, we already know that Israel is stronger than Esau. Esau got, if it came to a brute test, Esau would lose every time. Right. That's why it don't never come down to a brute test. It got to come to, we got to defeat Esau psychologically. Right. And when I say Esau or Edom, I mean the Europeans, the so-called Europeans, or the white people we know to today. You know, we gotta defeat them psychologically if we want to beat them. We gotta know their traps. We gotta know their snares, and that's an up and coming lecture that I got coming up. You know, it's called The System. You know, it's a lecture that I feel is really needy for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to dive into, because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't understand, and they don't understand how there are still racism today. They don't see it because it's not literal. I mean, it's literal, but it's not straightforward.
Right.
It's not right in their face, which it is right in their face, but it's just cloaked as something else. And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to understand how to identify that. They need to figure out how to identify that. So with that lecture, that's what I'm gonna be bringing out. All the snares of Esau, all the traps of Esau, and how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, what they need to do to avoid those traps and snares. But with that being said, continue reading.
Verse 24. And were her days, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, right, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were what?
Twins in her womb.
So we know she ain't having she ain't engaged in two different sexual partners because they are twins. So we know she ain't having two different lineages by two different means. That's the only way she can have two different lineages unless the Lord ordained it. And the Lord ordained this one. Said two different nations are in thy womb. So go ahead.
Verse 25. And the first came out red all over.
Now he said the first came out red all over. It said the older shall serve the younger, right?
Right.
And the younger shall be stronger than the older, right? So if the younger is stronger, in the brute test, like I said, we just dominate Esau. That's why we dominate in all the sports and stuff like that. And Esau was the first one to come out. So we know, and it's about to describe Esau. It said the first one came out what?
Red all over, like a hairy garment.
He said he came out red. Now his complexion was red. But the white man, only reason he's not even white. This is white. This is white right here. This is something that's white. The white man is not that color. The white man is this color. He's the color of his lighter. He's red. That because his blood show forth through his skin. So you can see his blood in his body because he lacks pigmentation, which is a curse from the Most High, which is a curse from the Lord, because he is the murderer that the earth has seen. He is the one that's murdering all throughout the earth. So with that being said, he came out red all over. And he was also what? Hairy like a garment. White people, we joke and laugh about it, but it's biblical. They are hairy like cavemen. That Geico commercial, that's exactly how white people are if they do not shave. If white people don't shave, they'd be just like the wildebeest or what. If that was a human, I think that was a wildebeest. But just like that Geico caveman, which is half wildebeest, half man, white people would look just like that. Continue.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau. Why? Because he was red. Because his blood showed forth through his skin. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And after that came his brother out.
Right.
And his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Okay, so Isaac was about 60 years old when Rebecca had his children, and Esau and Jacob came up. Esau is the oldest, Jacob is the youngest. He had hold of Esau's heel. Why did they describe Esau, but they didn't describe Jacob? Anybody know? Why would they describe Esau and not describe Jacob? You know?
Um, Glocky, because he looked different. Like no, like some, like he looked different. Like people didn't look like that.
Right. He's absolutely correct. He said because Esau was different. That's absolutely why the Lord and the scholars that documented the Bible, that's why they described Esau. That's why they gave an account of what Esau looked like, and not Jacob, because Jacob came out looking normal. Everybody else was black. Everybody else had pigmentation. Everybody else wasn't as hairy as Esau. He came out looking like a little monkey. So a little pale faced monkey. So after he came out looking like that, they felt the need to describe him. So you'll know what he looked like. You will understand the curse that was on him. And the curse that was on him was that his blood was showing forth through his skin. So with that being said, that's absolutely correct. Because he was different. And to answer that brother question, this was one of the first this was the one of the first white people on earth, which was literally white, besides Cain. Cain was white also, but Cain's lineage, then followed behind him with that curse, with that curse of pale skin, a leprosy. Cain, the mark of Cain was of leprosy. So you would know who the murderer in the earth was. But once Cain died, then his children didn't inherit the same lack of pigmentation that he had. He was cursed by from the Lord, but that same spirit was sent forth to Esau. So Esau is technically spiritually the son, not literally, but spiritually the son of Cain. And the Lord can do that because you come in the same lineage. You come in the same lineage as when you reincarnated, or when the Lord sends forth your spirit back out into the world, you come back in your same lineage. So if you was an Israelite in your past life, that's why you're an Israelite now. If you're an Israelite now, that's why, because you was an Israelite in your past life. If you're an Edomite now, it's because you was an Edomite in your past life. Like that. But Cain came, his spirit came back. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, rather, is the lineage of Cain. In a sense, whereas like both of them came from Adam. So, that's the same similar lineage. So he could come back through that same lineage. That spirit could come back the same way. So with that being said, Cain's spirit was sitting back forth through Esau, and now Esau and his lineage will inherit that curse that Cain had, that he got from the Lord for killing his brother Abel. So with that being said, Esau, we bring you up to date. Is Esau Esau is being born right now. He's red. He's one of the first white people on the earth, and he's going to start bearing white children because he is cursed with leprosy. Leprosy is a pigmentation deficiency. It's where your eyes. That's why your eyes become blue. That's why white people have blue eyes, because it lacks pigmentation. Blue eyes is actually worse than normal color eyes, like brown and stuff like that. They can't see as well with brown eyes. I mean, with blue eyes as they can with brown. And not just that, blonde hair is the lack of pigmentation. You know, that's why it's blonde. It's stripped of pigmentation. It don't have no color. You know, everything about the white man is stripped of pigmentation. You know, that's the curse. That's so you'll be able to identify the murderer in the earth. The white man is the only one without pigmentation in the earth. Every other nation, the Asians, the Arabs, the Africans, us, Israelites, everybody in the earth has pigmentation except white people. That's so you will know who the murderer is. So the whole earth will be able to identify who the murderer is. And who goes throughout the whole earth killing people, murdering people? White people. They're the only ones dropping bombs on Hiroshima, you know, on Japan, dropping atomic bomb. White people kill people by the millions. Look at the transatlantic slave trade with us coming over here. They killed 100 million of us in the transatlantic slave trade alone. You know, they killed 70 million Taino Indians with taking this land by itself. No telling how many other Taino Indians they killed with, you know, with slavery and pestilence and all types of different stuff like that. Cause they gave Native American blankets and scarves filled with what was it, smallpox? Was filled with smallpox. You know, they gave them blankets and stuff like that as a peace treaty, just to show you how devilish the white man is. They put the smallpox disease on all the blankets. So even more Native Americans died than after the treaty was already made. You know, that's guerrilla warfare. You know, the white man is always thinking or talking about peace, but he has war in his heart. Can you give me that verse real fast? The white man always he got peaceful words, but he always has war in his heart. You know, it's crazy because that characteristic trait describes the white man to a T. The white man is always thinking about war. The white man is always thinking about killing. The white man kills unconsciously. That's why you see so many white children shooting up schools, shooting up movie theaters, shooting up arcades, killing their parents, Shalagi, killing their mom and their dad. That's why white children do that, because they naturally have something inside of them that just wants to harm people, just wants to murder people. And they will murder their own, they will murder themselves, they will take themselves out. They commit suicide at an astounding rate. And ain't nothing even wrong with it. You know, I understand why black people would commit suicide, because they've been oppressed. They've been hurt. They've been killed. They've been murdered. They think there's no way out. You got that verse for me up? Yeah, they think there's no way out. You know, so that's what I will understand with them being suicidal. But I don't understand why white people are suicidal, because they have everything. Um they have white privilege, they have land, they have inheritance, and but yet they still kill each other. You got it? Go ahead. When you get it, when you
The book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21.
right.
The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Smoother than what?
Smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth was smoother than butter. This is Esau. Esau always trying to be smooth. Esau is like, well, that happened in the past. Won't y'all forget about it? Or we're not like our parents. You know, we love black people. I have black friends. You know, I'm always with my black friends. I love hip hop. I love everything. I love black movies. All of that. They say all of that. That's words as smooth as butter. Go ahead.
But war was in his heart.
But war was in his what?
In his heart.
When he gave the Native Indians smallpox, war was in his what?
In his heart.
When he said he freed the slaves with the slave abolition, but he's still killing them today. And there is over 22 million blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in prisons today.
War was in his heart.
War is always in a white man's heart. All the time. You cannot turn your back on white people for nothing. I know they, even that smile, every black person know what I'm talking about. When you see a white person, they give you the fakest smile in the world. Yeah, that fake old smile, and I just do it back to them because I already know what it means. You know, they give me the fake smile, I get them fake smile back. And we just be fake smiling at each other because I know in their heart they do not like me. I know in their heart it is war. So guess what's in my heart? I don't like them. Guess what's in my heart? It's war in my heart. So when a brother is ready and prepared for something like that, he cannot be caught off guard. And that's another reason, sidebar real quick, why that lecture, the system needs to be brought out. You know, and I'm doing substantial research for this lecture because it's a lot of things that's destroying us, that's trapping us in America that we don't even know. It's things in America that's so atrocious that that our people fall for it every day, every single day. Like the media. Look at the media. Look at the gay agenda. Them pushing that gay agenda with Barack Obama and all of that stuff. You know, it's crazy. There's always been gay people in our culture because they always had there's always be some that commit abominations, but not at this rate. You know, black people don't even like gay people. Black people are not even gay. They sick. If you see a black man or a black woman that's gay, it's because of something, because of PTSD. Some type of traumatic occurrence has happened to them. You know. So is there some more on that verse?
Kind.
Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil.
Softer than oil. You know how soft oil is. Go ahead.
Yet were they drawn swords.
But yet they was drawn swords. You know, it's soft. His words were softer than oil, but he's thinking of war every time. A sword, what you do with a sword? You go to war with a sword. That's what he was thinking about. Was war. The white man is always thinking about war. That's why Donald Trump does the things that he do, because it's war always in his heart. And you think like, why do Bill Clinton and George Bush and Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan, John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon, why all of these presidents, time and time again, just keep messing with all of these other nations? Why don't America just leave people alone? That's what they've been saying about 200 years now. America just needs to mind its own business. Shalaki. America needs to mind its own business. That's what every American in the United States is saying. America just needs to mind their own business and things won't happen to it. And that's true. But the white man can't mind his own business because war is always in his heart. He's always looking to do something, meddle with something, mess with something.
Right.
He always got his nose. He's the definition. If nosy was a person, it'd be a white person. You know, because they is the most nosiest people. They the ones committed the community watch thing. They ain't really a watch thing. And I bet you it's because they're nosy. You know, they neighbors always nosy. Like white people just nosiest people on earth. You know, and with that being said, that's because war is always in their heart. They always want to be 1 or 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody else.
Right.
So they always in everybody else's business, trying to figure out what's going on with everybody else. And sidebar real quick, that's why that's why the black family cannot grow and be as prosperous as it needs to be because the white man is all in the black woman business.
Right.
And with that being said, the black woman cannot allow her husband to rule because she's letting the white man rule over her because he's always in her business. That's why you hear brothers say, "Oh man, you put them people in our business." Brothers always say that. Like, oh, when there's child support, when they call the police on you, when they do anything with white people, the first thing a brother say, "Oh, you put them in our business," and that's what the white man wants you to do. That's why he gives the black woman so much power, the black and Hispanic woman so much power, because he knows she's going to run to him and put them in their business. And now he's going to come and mediate things how he mediated. And he has no interest in the welfare of the woman or the man.
That's right.
He don't have no interest in none of that. So once he gets involved, he about to destroy the whole family. He about to make sure the man go to jail. He gonna make sure the kids be without a daddy, which gonna in turn make them go to jail. And the black woman is gonna be without her man and her husband, which is gonna turn her out. And more than likely, she's gonna become a whore, cause she's gonna need that stableness, that guidance, and all of that stuff, and she's not gonna have it.
Right.
So only thing she's gonna be able to do is go to another woman, which is gonna mislead her because that woman, the same thing happened to that woman. It's just like a revolving door. So with that being said, that's how you know who Esau is. Let me answer his other question. Black is all throughout the Bible. Give me Acts 13:1.
Oh God.
Got it. Go ahead.
Okay. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets.
Now they saying at this particular church, the prophets, there's some people up in this church, I'm pretty sure it's like you. It's different nations in this church. But it was certain prophets. Like the prophets and the teachers, go ahead.
And teachers, such as Barnabas and Simeon.
Right.
For
example, Barnabas and Simeon. Go ahead.
That was called nigger.
That was called what?
Nigger.
It was called Niger. It was called Niger. And that's simply because Niger, what's the root word of nigger? The root word of nigger is Niger. Niger is a Latin term, a Latin word that comes from the Latin language, which means black or negro, which just means black. It was certain teachers in there throughout. So it was certain teachers in there that were black. An example, Barnabas and Simeon. So they was black and stuff like that. So it's letting you know that they were called nigger back then.
Right.
The white man always called us nigger. When he came and got us from over there in Africa, one of the first word names he called us was nigger.
Right.
That's simply because back then it wasn't even a derogatory term. He was just saying black, like blackie or nigger or just black. It ain't till we supposedly got out of slavery that they tried to use it as a derogatory term. But it just means black when you look it up and you really learn the context. Now in American dictionary, they want to call it a derogatory term, which it never started off to being that way. It was just saying black people. Why would they be calling us nigger coming out of Africa, coming when they came and got us out of Africa and not calling us African if we are Africans? That doesn't make sense simply because, if we those people, they'll just be like, oh, well, these the Ethiopians, or these the Nigerians, or these the Africans. They would have been calling us Africans back then. They didn't start calling us African American until like 20 years ago. Every couple decades they got a new term for us.
Right.
And they trying to make this African American thing stick because it has the greatest quality for confusion. Because Africans are dark skinned people like us, and we are dark skinned people. So it's kind of hard, and they know they got us from Africa, so they like, okay, well, to keep them from knowing who they are, because that's the whole objective of America. That's the whole objective of the Smithsonian, the Smithsonians, or the upper echelon, or the elite, or the Illuminati. That's the whole objective of them. What I'm telling you now, for us not to know that we are the chosen people of God, that we are the Jews of the Bible, that we are the Hebrew Israelites, that we descend from everybody in the Bible by blood and heritage. Them are our forefathers. They don't want us to know that. That's why they got rid of so many documentations, and they destroyed so many records in the Native American culture coming over here and taking this land. They destroyed our whole culture with the slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. All the tribes of Israel, they destroyed. They destroyed the culture. Is there some more on that verse?
Wow.
So give me Job 30 and 30. Because all throughout the Bible, you will know that the Israelites are black. This brother asked that question because I believe he won't. First of all, I don't believe he been taught right wherever he at. And I guarantee he's a Christian or he's a weed smoking YouTube addict where he just watch YouTube videos all day. Come up with conspiracy theories that the white man is not the devil and stuff like that. But what he failed to realize is, as soon as he step outside the door, he's using every strength in his body to avoid white people and the destruction from white people, from the hands of white people. Every time you step out that door, you like, man, I hope I don't get put over there. Man, I hope these white people mind their damn business. Man, like me and my wife just put out today, like Saint Anne police they is relentless, dog. They like, man, dog. I think they really be hiding in bushes. Like, I don't know how they fit the whole car behind a bush, but they do. They find some type of way, or they got a button in their car where it camouflages them behind bushes or trees or something like that, cause they got a cloaking device on they police. I'm serious, you laughing, but these St. Anne police is relentless, dog, and they stay in the area which we live in because it's like they know it ain't nothing but black people back there.
Right.
And at least like probably I'll say between 10 and 20 times it's a dead end street back there.
Right.
It's a loop where you gotta loop around. You've been back there.
Yeah.
It's where you gotta loop around and stuff like that. You can't get through there, so it's a dead end. So they come all the way back there about 10 to 20 times a day, literally. No lie. 10 to 20 times a day, literally, just to mess with black people. That's oppression right there. Like, my wife is getting so fed up. She didn't really understand what I was saying when I said, like, that's oppression, man. That's oppression. They're not, a cop is not allowed to. It's a certain patrol you can do. You know, you so of course cops are to patrol things, but they are not to patrol things according to discrimination.
Right.
Because you're always back there. Why aren't you always in the whole neighborhood?
Right.
You always in the back where we at. You ain't. I don't never see you on the side streets where the white people on their houses at. Right. On the other side street where the other white people on their houses. I always see you in the back where the apartment buildings at. Just ducked off. They'd be ducked off. You know, they be catching people early in the morning. You know, this sidebar real quick. They be catching people early in the morning, real early, like time the kids go to school and people go to work. Real early, coming down this little straight street to get back there on Geraldine. You know, they catch them coming out right before you about to hit St. Charles Rock Road. They catch them. They sitting right there where that fire station is at. Okay. And they sit in that parking lot and they know that it's a 15 I think it's 15 mile per hour zone right there for like a 1 block radius. Because it jumped from like 25 or 30 down to 15. I don't know why. I gotta look at the signs and see why it jumps down like that. It might be a school zone, but there ain't no schools right there. So I don't know why it jumped down. It's probably because of that fire station. I don't know, for whatever reason, the mile per hours jumped down. You know, they got us twice, me and my wife. They put us over twice coming out of there because we was going like 20 or 30 miles an hour up out of coming down that street. Well, that's the average speed limit going somewhere. But since we going 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, he able to bust us down. Talking about just slow down because it be kids coming. And I never see no kids. And it might be true. It might do be kids. I don't never. Every morning, he's always sitting up there. That's because he knows that the average black motherfucker coming out of them apartment complex, he know what he's doing is oppression. Right. So they gotta find more and more clever ways to pull people over coming out of them apartment complexes. Because they know they can't just sit there. But sometimes they still just sit there. They'll sit there back there in that loop where you turn around at. They'll sit in the loop. Just sit there for like 20, 30 minutes. Like I come out from walking my dog, they'll be sitting right there in the loop. And I go back in the house because I ain't get my dog registered yet. I gotta get them registered. So until I get them registered and St. Anne, that's another thing. It's like they restriction is a way more harsher and like more criteria that must be met with getting a dog and stuff like that, especially a pit bull. So it's like man, like I gotta get from out there. Go ahead.
That's because it's the same thing that you was just saying. Like they know who got pit bulls out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's taxation. Is what's it? Taxation by citation. Like you gotta pay because we know that you're more likely to have a pit bull than the white people.
Right.
The Edomites most likely, over there they got this little fancy little dog.
Right, poodles and German shepherds and all types of crazy dogs like that.
And they know we more likely to have a pit bull. So we gotta pay the extra fee to register that type of dog.
Right, exactly. And it's not like that in the city. Right. It's not like that when you go deeper in the city and stuff like that, or the areas around the city. It's not like that. But in St. Anne and Breckenridge, St. John is all like that. Right. They sidebar real fast, then we could get up out of here because we over the time anyway. But this sidebar real fast. Oh, God, did it slip my mind? Oh yeah, when we first moved, when me and my wife first moved into them apartment complexes, they it's a fee for them to come and inspect your house. Okay. It's a fee to live out there for them to inspect. I'm like, what? I never heard of that. They got to come out and inspect your house, and I don't even think they came out and inspect. I don't never remember ever seeing it. Unless they came out beforehand, but it's crazy all the, like you said, taxation by citation. That's how they're getting their money.
Right.
When I went to court for my ticket from them pulling me over, literally it's like it's a small day police station, very small. It's literally like 300 to 400 black people up in that police station waiting to hear their tickets.
Right.
It's probably like 50 or 60 white people in there. And it's about almost 400 black people. And it's crowded. They had to put people on the other side and just have them sit there until that side get lessened down. So it's just like, it's crazy what the white man be doing. And all of that is in the scriptures. All of that is in the Bible. So to that brother that wanted to know that, there's plenty of scriptures showing white people being white, and there's plenty of scripture showing black people being black. But I'm gonna give you this word of advice: stop trying to save white people.
That's
because
right.
this is the end times, and white people are going to get what they deserve. They reaping what they deserve. So with that being said, that's my time, Israel. Shalom.